lot of the time was not only finding trade. Oh!
Making this MMA game look easy, Tom. What's the secret?
I don't know about that. It doesn't feel that easy. The secret is stay in the gym, believe in yourself, and that's it. Nothing spectacular, do you know what I mean? Pretty basic, but have the dedication there, I guess.
Listen, people, I've been telling everybody all week, I'm born for this. I'm ready.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to Athlete Central. Today we are going to discuss one of the most talented fighters to come out of Great Britain in recent history. A fighter that has captivated the attention of everyone following the UFC. Someone who has brought life to the heavyweight division.
There it is, look at that, it's over.
Of course, we are talking about Tom Aspinall, a UFC fighter with a record of 12-2 who has an undefeated 5-0 record in the octagon. Plenty of British talent like Leon Edwards, Arnold Allen, Darren Till, Paul Craig, and Paddy Pimblett are in the UFC, but Aspinall might arguably be the best of the bunch. Today we here at Athlete Central are here to tell you why the heavyweight division should watch out for Tom Aspinall. So without further ado, let's jump straight into it. The heavyweight division is getting more and more interesting by the day, and gone are the days where it was divided between Daniel Cormier and Stipe Miocic, with Francis Ngannou and Curtis Blades trailing behind them. Now we have fresh contenders, and none are fresher than the top talent from the UK, Tom Aspinall. Let's talk about Tom's background. Aspinall had an amateur record of 5-0 before turning pro. He had 2 wins by submission, 2 by knockout, and 1 decision win.
Still the AFC Heavyweight Champion!
Both his submissions were arm triangle chokes. Tom is actually the BJJ instructor at his gym. Given his father was also a martial artist, Aspinall has been practicing different aspects of MMA since his childhood, and has now become pretty well versed at most of them. Boxing heavyweight champion Tyson Fury's father, John Fury, actually commented on Tom's potential and well-roundedness. He said that from what he has seen from Aspinall's sparring sessions with Tyson Fury, John thinks that Aspinall will not only do big things in the UFC, but will also be the first ever MMA fighter to do extraordinary things in boxing too, proving how much potential Aspinall really has.
I'm friggin' dangerous, man.
In his pro career, Aspinall got a record of 7-2 prior to signing with the UFC, having 5 knockouts and 2 submission wins under his belt. His 7 wins averaged 62 seconds per fight. Safe to say, he was going through the competition very quickly. His 2 losses are quite divisive. He has 1 legitimate loss via heel hook, but the other one was a similar story to John Jones against Matt Hamill. Aspinall got disqualified for illegal 12-6 elbows, when in actuality, he was winning the fight. All in all, there's an argument to be made that he should only have 1 loss on his record. Stay tuned to find out more about his UFC victories in advanced detail. All 5 of Tom's wins have been finishes in the UFC, 3 being KOs and 2 submissions, showing his well-roundedness. His first fight against Jake Collier was over in a mere 45 seconds.
Not only finding trade. Oh! What a
Aspinall was patient, and right when Collier overextended, Aspinall capitalized and landed a beautiful combination to get a first-round knockout win. His next fight was against Alan Baldo, where the bookmakers put Tom up as a -650 favorite after seeing his brilliant performance against Collier. The fight against Baldo lasted a bit more, 1 minute and 35 seconds, but similar qualities were showcased with the addition of grappling. Aspinall showcased his patience yet again, and after avoiding some of Baldo's attacks, found an opening that hurt Baldo. They went into the clinch, where Aspinall showed his strength before using exceptional technique to take his opponent down and land vicious ground and pound, which ended the fight. Aspinall faced his first real test against UFC legend Andrei Arlovski. The first round was hectic, with both men throwing leather, but Aspinall landing the better shots, rocking Arlovski in the middle of the round. After many clinch exchanges, they engaged in the striking again, and Aspinall showed his IQ. He tasted some of Arlovsky's power, and in the second round, shot for a takedown a minute in, securing a rear naked choke for the finish.
It is, look at that, it's over. It goes right under the...
In his first fight against a ranked opponent, Aspinall showed that he can resist strong wrestlers by defeating Ciryl Gane in just 2.5 minutes. Tom was picking Spivak apart on the feet, seamlessly switching between southpaw and orthodox stances. When about 2 minutes into the fight, Spivak tried to initiate a wrestling exchange. Aspinall defended brilliantly and got into the clinch, where he landed some powerful shots, knocking Spivak down and finishing him on the ground. Aspinall has had one truly elite matchup, and that was his last fight against Alexander Volkov, a man who has beat fighters like Fabrizio Verdun, Stefan Struve, and Alistair Overeem. Tom showed his fight IQ again in this fight. Volkov was landing some nice kicks due to his height and reach advantage, and Aspinall eliminated that by landing an effortless takedown that was executed flawlessly. Aspinall utilized some vicious ground and pound and hunted for some submissions while on the mat. After the fight was back on the feet, Aspinall remained patient in the exchanges until the takedown opening presented itself yet again, and Tom was able to secure a straight arm lock for the submission victory. After this fight, there was a hell of a lot of praise for Tom Aspinall, but no one bigged him up more than his teammate and training partner, Darren Till. The Gorilla believes that Aspinall is going to be the heavyweight champion, and even said that Tom would play with the light heavyweight GOAT John Jones, in the sense that the fight would be a walk in the park for him. That is a pretty bold claim to make, considering the success John Jones has had in his career and how good of a fighter he still is. Mind you, he is still only 34. Till also mentioned that Aspinall's roadmap to the belt is through number 3 Tuivasa and then number 1 Ciryl Gane. Man, the amount of new names at the top of the heavyweight division is just great to see. Check out our video on the resurgence of the heavyweight division to get a more in-depth view of how it has shifted from stale to exciting. There are currently 6 fighters ranked above Aspinall right now. Derek Lewis, Curtis Blades, Tuivasa, Stipe Miocic, Ciryl Gane, and the champion Francis Ngannou. Let's first discuss potential tactics against his number 1 target, Tuivasa, and Derek Lewis as well. Aspinall would probably have similar tactics against both fighters. He has brilliant takedowns, and against power punchers like Tuivasa and Lewis, he would probably utilize his grappling. It would most likely be similar to the game plan that Aspinall's team devised for his bout against Volkov, another striker. However, he is not a pure wrestler. He can stand with them and avoid their haymakers, and his reach would allow him to trade at distance. But against a wrestler like Curtis Blades, the matchup would be extremely interesting. We don't know whether Aspinall would want to go to the ground with Blades. Curtis definitely isn't a submission threat like Aspinall is, but if he gets on top of you, he shows that they don't call him Curtis Razor Blades for nothing. His elbows will cut you open like nothing else. Blades also showed in his fight with Dawkins that he does have decent stand-up, but Aspinall probably beats him out in that department as well. Tom has a variety of submissions in his arsenal and will be comfortable wherever the fight takes place. Blades would not be able to easily execute his ground and pound because the submission threat is always there. Now we're getting to the big boys, Stipe, Gane, and Francis. This trio truly is the elite of the elite. A potential fight with Stipe would be interesting for Aspinall because just like Tom, Stipe is extremely well-rounded. A brilliant boxer and an outstanding wrestler. The only department where he is lacking is the BJJ. That fight truly depends on how Stipe has recovered from that brutal KO loss to Francis, because in his prime, Stipe was the greatest heavyweight of all time. A fight with Gane is one Aspinall has been eyeing after a potential bout against Tuivasa. That would really be a collision of the new generation of MMA fighters. Both of these heavyweights move like they fight at middleweight, bouncing on their toes, switching stances effectively, with both great striking and grappling. Even though both are extremely well-rounded, Gane is probably the better striker while Aspinall has the advantage on the mat. We're definitely going to see this matchup down the line, and Tom's fights so far have shown that this would be extremely competitive. Now we've come to the Ngannou fight, one that is full of uncertainty. At first glance, given Ngannou's last few performances, you'd pick him to beat anyone in the heavyweight division. That's just how good he's looked. However, Aspinall has been almost flawless in all of his UFC victories thus far. So, could he actually cope with the pressure of fighting Ngannou? Well, that's definitely not going to happen in his next fight, but we will know a lot more about Aspinall's potential if he faces someone like Blade, Stipe, or Gane. For now, we definitely know that Aspinall is a frightening prospect who is soaring up the heavyweight rankings rapidly. With a diverse skill set and strong mentality, the sky's the limit for the Brit, who is definitely a heavyweight that everyone in the rankings should watch out for. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video. Make sure to like and subscribe to never miss an Athlete Central video. So comment which video you want to see us make next. Until next time.